Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of chaos, desperately trying to keep your head above water? Like no matter how hard you fight, the waves just keep coming, relentless and overwhelming? If you're nodding right now, stick around. There are moments when it feels like we're standing on the shore, watching wave after wave crash down, powerless to hold them back. And in the depths of that chaos, a small, insistent voice whispers from within, "If only I could control everything, then I would finally be safe." You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Take a deep breath with me. As you inhale, feel the air filling your lungs. As you exhale, let go of the tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Now, in this quiet space we've created, let us imagine something together. What if true peace doesn't come from fixing the world, but from seeing the world, and ourselves, in a completely different light? These words, simple yet profound, offer a radical shift in perspective. You notice the rhythm of their approach. Remember, you may not be able to stop them, but you can learn to surf. And in that learning, in that beautiful, challenging journey of growth, you might just find the peace and happiness you've been seeking all along. The way they swell and break. It starts with acceptance, not resignation, but a clear-eyed acknowledgement of what is. It's about recognizing the difference between what we can change and what we must learn to navigate. Like a surfer reading the waves, we learn to read the situations in our lives, to move with grace and purpose even when the ground beneath us is shifting. We discover that our strength lies not in our ability to control our environment, but in our capacity to adapt, to learn, and to grow. You feel the sand shift beneath your feet. But with each step, we find a new kind of freedom, a peace that comes not from the absence of storms, but from our ability to dance in the rain. Observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice allows us to step back from the chaos, to find that still point within ourselves from which we can respond rather than react. But instead of fighting to stay still, you adjust your stance, moving with the earth. They invite us to consider, is it possible to find peace, even when everything around us feels uncertain? It's about developing the flexibility to ride the waves, to find balance even in motion, to see challenges not as threats but as opportunities for growth and transformation. Is there a way to break free from this endless cycle of struggle and the illusion of control? Then, at last, I would find happiness. We reach out, frantically trying to build walls of sand, shouting into the wind, but the waves come anyway, uncaring and deafening in their approach. Because in the next few minutes, we're going to explore a life-changing perspective that could be the lifeline you've been searching for. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them. Maybe you're in the midst of such a storm right now. There are waves of change and challenge that no human power can hold back. It's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? We're raised to believe that with enough effort, enough planning, enough sheer force of will, we can overcome any obstacle. But what happens when we come face to face with forces beyond our control? Perhaps someone you love is battling an illness, and you feel helpless watching their struggle. Or your career, once solid ground, now feels like shifting sands beneath your feet. Maybe a relationship that meant the world to you is slipping through your fingers, no matter how tightly you try to hold on. In the quiet hours of the night, you lie awake, your mind racing with questions. Why can't I fix this? Why can't I make everything right? It's in these moments that the world can feel like it's spinning wildly out of control. But that's the truth we all must face. There are storms in life that we simply cannot stop. This is where the wisdom of the ages comes in. Buddha, in his infinite insight, once said, "Let's pause for a moment." Imagine standing on that same shore, but instead of frantically trying to push back the waves, you're watching them with curiosity. This is the art of surfing life's waves. It's not about controlling the uncontrollable or fighting against the tide of change. But how do we make this shift? How do we go from feeling overwhelmed and out of control to finding peace amidst the storm? Next, we cultivate mindfulness, the ability to be fully present in each moment. And finally, we embrace adaptability. This journey from control to acceptance, from resistance to flow, is not an easy one. It requires courage, patience, and practice. So, as you face the waves in your own life, are you ready to catch the wave? When we hold on tightly to the way we think life should be, we miss the beauty of what is. Maybe you are not raising a child with special needs, but you recognize yourself in Anna. Maybe you're struggling with a boss who doesn't appreciate you or a partner who seems distant. Maybe your health isn't what it once was. Maybe you're watching your parents grow old, powerless to stop the clock. You cannot control everything. But you can choose how you meet the waves. Have you ever tried to fix someone you love, only to feel helpless when nothing changes? One is called respond, don't react. When we feel the urge to control, place your hand on your heart, breathe in. When something difficult happens, you could react with anger and frustration, thinking, this is so unfair. Why is this happening to me? Or you could ask yourself, what is happening to me? You may still be stuck, but at least you're free from the added torment of anger. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I ask, what is happening to me? By simply noticing what is, without judgment, you begin to free yourself from unnecessary suffering. And silently say, right now, I can choose peace. It's a simple practice, but like all practices, it takes time. Have you ever believed that your happiness depends on controlling the world around you? I don't mean the kind of righteous anger that fuels social change or protects those who are vulnerable. I'm talking about the kind of anger that keeps us stuck, that feeds resentment and bitterness. What if, just for a moment, you set down the heavy burden of control? When you find yourself reacting, notice it, pause, and then choose a different response. Then we respond to life with skillful action rather than desperate attempts to control it. It's like surfing. If you find yourself battling the waves, exhausted and defeated, maybe it's time to look for a surfboard. The wave is coming. You can't stop it, but you can adjust your position and ride it out. What if, instead of fighting the storm, you learn to surf, to ride the waves as they come? All that we will be is the result of what we are. In other words, our past is the result of our reactions. Our future is shaped by the seeds we choose to water. When we react with fear, we feed fear. When we react with love, we feed love. Our reactions water the seeds within us. So the question is, what kind of seeds do you want to water? How do you want to respond to the events of your life? With presence and acceptance? In my book, The Mind of the Buddha, I tell stories that bring the Buddha's teachings to life. This is one of my favorites because it shows us how letting go is not a sign of defeat, but the beginning of wisdom. There are many ways to practice. There's a story about a student who asked his teacher, how can I be free from suffering? The teacher replied, stop reacting, my son, for reactions are the seeds of suffering. Think about that for a moment. Our reactions to what happens shape our experience of suffering. We don't have to become monks or give up our lives to learn these teachings. We can start right where we are, with a kind of awareness that makes space for what is. Now, I want to share a bit of wisdom from the Buddhist tradition. When we react with anger, we feed anger. This is a teaching that has helped me deeply. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, by the way, when I talk about anger, now, here's the challenge. The Buddha said, all that we are is the result of what we have been. When we choose peace, we don't have to pretend that everything is perfect. We simply acknowledge what is with openness and kindness. I leave you with this. So, what do we take from Anna's story? What does Buddha ask of us, here and now, in this complicated world? He asks us to see clearly. You cannot control the waves of life. There will be storms. There will be loss. There will be things you cannot fix or change. But you are not powerless. You have a choice. You can choose peace. You can choose presence. That's what the Buddha taught. If you keep fighting, you become the struggle. If you choose presence, you become peace. You can choose to love, even when you don't know what will happen next. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes, if you like. Breathe in slowly, breathe out gently. For just a few moments, release the need to fix anything. Let the world be as it is. Let yourself be as you are. Notice how your breath is the only thing that is certain. You find the courage to be present with whatever arises. You find the strength to face whatever comes next. In the words of Lao Tzu, be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. You are free from the need to control, from the need to fix, from the need to know what will happen next. In this moment, you are enough. Everything else is an impermanent wave on the surface of life. Your job is not to fight the waves, but to dive deep within yourself, where the ocean of peace is always present. And as you do, bring awareness to these sensations. Feel the coolness of the water on your lips. Feel the stretch in your arms and legs. Notice the sounds around you. Bring your attention to this moment. Thank you for listening. May you find peace in the letting go. May you find joy even in the imperfection. And may you remember, the door to peace is always open, right here, right now, in this moment. The path of letting go is not for saints or monks only. It's for anyone who has ever been tired, or scared, or lost. For anyone who has ever loved, and tried, and failed, and tried again. When this video ends, before you rush to the next thing, I invite you, pause for 3 deep breaths. Place your hand on your heart. Maybe you will forgive yourself for not having all the answers. Maybe you will sit quietly with your own heart, and let yourself feel, without judgment, without needing to change. Whisper to yourself, I cannot control everything, but I can choose peace. Maybe peace isn't found in making the world obey your will, but in letting go, and allowing yourself to be present, open, and gentle, right here and now. If you like that quote, you might also like this one, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Remember, you are not alone. You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Today, let's practice together. Feel the peace that begins to grow in that quiet space. Maybe today, you will join your child in their world, even if it's different from yours. This is how healing begins. Now, back to our breathing exercise. Just a few more moments of letting go. When you dive deep within, you find the endless blue of stillness. You find yourself connected to everything. That is the gift of letting go. Now, slowly begin to move. Stretch your fingers. Open your eyes. Take a sip of water, if you like. For in this moment, you are free. And if you can hold on to this feeling of, I am enough, then my friend, you have found the secret of peace.